The Clashing Conferences Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Clashing Conferences Network. Big week here, or big weekend we had here with a little Clashing Conferences live get together at PJ
That was the highlight of the
Wheelerhands.
weekend.
It was a good weekend. We had a little casino action. A couple of us went out to the casino beforehand, then a whole bunch of us from the network got together for the day and watched some football. Just something we do once in a while with really any people on the network that want to join us. And we've had a couple guys coming in from all over the place for some of these things. So it's cool to get together every once in a while live. And it was great to do this Sunday. The next one, I think, is coming up, going to be in March for the March Madness tournament. Whether you're part of the network or not, if you're a fan of the network, get out there with us. We're networking live. Chris is really networking live. He's out there. Like just talking to,
I'm shaking hands. I'm giving out cards.
Yep, he's doing
Was every table full of single girls?
Live network.
No.
It's true. The one table you talk to.
And I guess you got the other ones covered, right, Randy?
Yeah, he does.
Here we go, Mr. Geography with his fun again.
Well, we had a little live football this weekend. There wasn't much of a Mingo sighting. There was one
there
target
was an
this
attempted,
week.
yeah.
But we did have three games. We had Philadelphia squeezing one out against the Panthers, 22-16. We had the Giants just keeping their hopes for the number one pick alive with a very close 11-14 loss to the Saints. And then we had the Cowboys keeping it pretty close with a huge day out of CD, going down 20-27 to the Bengals. In our internal competition, the Eagles and Greg are going to get 2 points this week for total touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns over Dallas with 2 and the Giants with 1. Plus or minus turnovers, you also get a point there, Greg. You were +1 on your turnover differential, and only one team against the spread getting a point this week, and it's Chris and his Giants. Who would have guessed?
Hey, now.
But
Chris, I'm rooting for you not to come in last in the competition. I think you got a shot.
He does have a shot. He's got a real chance here. You got Topher with a point there, Greg with 2. That for the season is going to give Greg 17, Paul 14 coming off his bye week. Randy is with 10, I believe, and Chris is bumped up to 7 after his point this week. So,
and I lost the point for saying a bad word.
Oh yeah, I lost championships for saying a bad word. I don't want to hear about your 1 point. So
yeah.
You know who's not losing a championship this week? I'm getting it out before we even get started. The Mets, baby. It's not over yet. Not over yet. The spending is going to continue. Just like I said it would. Y'all wait. We got the richest owner in all of sports. He got more money than you know what to do with. This is his toy.
And you got Grimace.
He's going to buy Grimace's rights from McDonald's. Wait.
I got enough money
to do whatever he wants.
And you're still going to come in third place in the division. And I
was going to say.
That's what I kept hearing all year last year from you Phillies fans. You and Lewis and Kyle and
it's
Dave.
Not the way I wanted to end the season, for sure.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, we'll see.
The Yankees have done this before.
Time.
The Yankees have been on these sprees before, and it doesn't always work out. They got 27 championships, but
it does more than it doesn't, though.
There you go, Randy.
Yeah.
And with that, let's get started looking at some NFC East. That's what this podcast is about. Greg, I've been saying it for weeks. We're going to continue to lead off until you give us reason not to. And you gave us a scare. It looked like there was a chance you weren't going to lead off this week, but you pulled out a close one. You're still leading the internal. What do you got for us?
Squeezed one out there.
I want to hear the line. I got to take an earphone out, though.
Boys!
Woo!
That's what I'm cheering for this week. Sorry. Paul, teed it up. Out of the park, baby. It was a scary game. Yeah, right. It was. This was, I think, our game of letdown / We're going to go into cruise control before we step it up for Pittsburgh, I'm hoping. We all watched the game together. We didn't. It was one of those games where we couldn't establish a rhythm. I think, what was 14-7 going into halftime? It was just one of those games, or 14-10, sorry. Just one of those games where it was just tough to get things going. We had many 3-and-outs. Then we would have drives with 8 plays that we sputtered. We had missed field goals. We had then Barkley started going. To be honest with you, it's kind of a shame to me because there was a lot of good, positive things that happened. And us as Philly fans, like we only know how to do, we kind of zoom in on the negatives. So on a day where Barkley breaks the Eagles' single season rushing total, we don't celebrate
games.
that. We celebrate. We look at the locker room and everyone's sad. Everyone's down. AJ Brown, they said, what's going on with your offense? He's like, passing. Then it's like Jalen Hurts makes a couple comments, and it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, making comments about the coach, right?
Then last night, BG, I love you, buddy, but like he basically
stuck his foot in his mouth.
Like, you know what? You guys are going to settle this crap right now. And he went out on his show, the Brandon Graham show, and basically said they got beef. I don't know what it is, but they need to fix it. So it's like you got two guys that are like, we're best friends that are playing together. And then you got T.O. tweeting, I hated McNabb, but I still stepped on the field and played my best game hating the guy. So it's like, I think media personalities are blowing this way out of proportion. I really do think so.
Yeah, but Greg, that's kind of like a Philadelphia pastime. Like they love doing that.
But you're not helping. Like nobody had to make that big of a deal about Embiid. If Embiid would have just shut his damn mouth, everything would have been fine. Nobody's going to say anything as much about the Cowboys if Jerry shuts his mouth. But I have one question, Greg. Why Eagles? Why? There's no look. If you look at, so I'm looking at a screenshot I have. It was, but I had that. I actually stole it from somebody. So somebody else is dumb.
All right,
I'm not.
But I co-signed it. It sounded good, so I was absolutely taking that. But I definitely didn't think of that. Or So after AJ Brown, after you guys won 9-10 games in a row, and are coined as like the second or third best team in the entire NFC. Then and that goes down with AJ Brown. And then last night on a team like the Bengals, who are so awful, one of the only two players that's at 3 because Hendricks is out there in defense, but one of the only other 2 players that actually plays football on that team. And the first thing he says about his quarterback is praising him. And they have they're bears behind the other teams in that conference.
Yeah,
why?
No, I agree.
I don't know why it has to get to that.
Yeah, when he smashing cookies in his face and stuff, and then when your quarterback is getting blamed for having a bad game and taking sacks,
and you've done it before, so why? Why?
And you're 11-2.
It led to nothing but a first round layoff last year.
Yeah, but it just seems like AJ wants to be a Chase, a Jefferson. He wants those numbers,
but they're winning.
But the problem is, you got to remember something. You don't get paid to get 800 yards a year. If he wants paid, he needs that 1,500-1,600 yard numbers. And the problem is, the Eagles are finally doing a lot of things right. The number one thing they're doing right is they're running the ball and controlling the clock and not turning over. And that's because of Saquon Barkley and because they can now run the ball.
The other side of that coin is you're paying $50 million for 2 receivers. Like you're paying a lot of money for your receivers, and that's where the frustration is. And you got a quarterback that's making you got a quarterback that's making good money. But
I think that problem, one of your 2 receivers is aware of that and is just smiling the whole time, and I do like that.
You are 100% correct. He doesn't have that diva mentality. Everybody in this podcast has a diva receiver. Everybody does. Terry McLaurin, the first couple of weeks of the season, we're saying that. CeeDee Lamb is over there crying, throwing his helmet. You got Neighbors the first couple of weeks pissed off, and the last couple of weeks.
What was he mad about the first couple of weeks? He's still
your team sucked
because you were horrible and you were losing.
Yes.
Yeah, but his numbers are good this year.
I know, but my point is,
he paid.
He's not wrong. Did you hear what he was yelling about this weekend?
He paid for the airplane.
Then why are you acting like he doesn't yell?
He paid for the flyover.
I'm glad he is, but you're calling him a diva, but he's right. No, he said he didn't pay. He might have paid for the OnlyFans girl.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
See that?
Honestly don't think any of our receivers are half the diva that AJ Brown is.
Stop.
And the reason is, listen, all I'm saying, the reason is AJ Brown wants to be, he's looking at CeeDee Lamb, he's looking at Jefferson, he wants that $100 million contract.
But he's a part of
that.
3 years.
Well,
he's not getting a new contract.
I know, but next time his contract comes around, he wants those numbers, the big numbers. He wants to be that guy. Yes. Yeah. What else?
I understand that, but he's under a big contract, and if they win the Super Bowl,
not that big of a contract
anyway. And
it's not a Jefferson contract.
He's still top 5 paid receiver in the league.
He's a big reason. Another big reason why Saquon can do that. Like, they also got the line, but you have to worry about their receivers. You have to worry about their tight end. That's helping. That's the other thing Barkley didn't really have. Like, we didn't have a stacked team either.
Oh, my God. Are we still talking about this? Good Lord.
Here's the thing. They asked to run the ball the last 9 weeks.
Say one thing that whole time, and he complains.
The last 9 weeks since the bye, we're like, they want to run the ball. So that's what they've been doing. I mean, since then, Jalen Hurts is averaging 20 passes a game. He may go 14 for 20. He may go 13 for 20. Now, the difference is up in Detroit, Jared's going to go 22 for 23, and they're going to be able to spread the ball around. And that's not what's happening now. AJ's getting 4 catches for 50 yards, and he's upset. He's been getting 5-6 catches every week since week 1. Now, he was out a couple weeks. So, yeah, he wants the ball. I get it. He's frustrated. And he's seeing Jalen run around and take sacks that are unnecessary.
Yeah, that was too.
Be going to him.
But I wanted to say something. I see a trend. It seems like every week Barkley always starts off slow. They're always trying to get it going with their offense. They can't get it going. They're always in a close game to halftime. Then you start giving the ball to Saquon, he takes over the game. And then all this. So is that the coach? Is that the quarterback?
Well, no, it's what it is
something I've been saying. They're talented, but they're not that good.
Teams are scheming. What they're scheming is they're putting in defenses that they don't use during the season really hardly at all, and they put them against us. That's what they're doing. And it's taking.
And that's what everybody's supposed to do every week, though. You always game plan for the team you're playing.
But how can you game plan for something you don't see? My opinion is we're not game planning well enough, and that's I can guarantee you Pittsburgh's going to come out with some type of a twist. Mike Tomlin
will probably get out coached. Absolutely,
you're going to be blitzed on the highest percentage.
I agree.
Of snaps that you have seen all season. I guarantee you.
So how do you control the blitz? How do you control the blitz? Well, you're going to
run the ball. You run the ball.
You run the ball, or you have short screens coming from the blitzing side.
I mean, Philadelphia matches up so well against that Pittsburgh defense, in my opinion, because they can go anywhere. I don't know. I feel like maybe you're a little weak at tight end, maybe a little bit, but you guys.
So yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know, but I just want to challenge one thing. You said that all of our teams have divas. I mean,
they do, 100%.
Well, Paul, is Terry McLaurin a diva? I mean, we've talked about for weeks.
I actually would disagree with that. The first couple weeks,
I disagree with it. He was cool with it.
He stuck by Jaden the whole way. But put your pen back up. You look a lot smarter when you had that pen up there, like you were like.
Thank you.
Read and write and stuff. Keep doing that. No, I will disagree with that.
You can read and write and stuff.
I didn't think Terry was a diva.
Love it.
This year.
I think all receivers are divas. I really do. Honestly,
I think a great receiver's supposed to be.
I mean,
do you think?
Hold on. Do you think Smith's a diva?
No, I don't. I think
nobody has ever said
not all receivers are divas.
Most are 100%. Most are.
I don't think Marvin Harrison was a diva.
Okay, now let's go back to the 90s. Are we doing?
Well, he's a murderer. Is that better? He's not a diva, but he killed somebody. Does that help?
I mean, they're different. Sure. They're different.
We don't condone that.
All right.
I'd rather hang out.
I mean, seriously. So now we're not celebrating Barkley. He's literally ready to break Eric Dickerson's record, and it's like, what are we going to do?
Fall apart.
Are we going to make AJ happy? Because last time AJ didn't get the ball, guess who we played the next game? Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And guess what we did? Oh, we gave him I think we threw it at him 9 times. He had 6 catches, 155, and 3 touchdowns. So, what are we going to do here? It's the Philadelphia media is so bad that we're now saying, who are we going to keep? Are we getting rid of Hurts? Are we getting rid of AJ? And it's like,
and you're 11-2.
This is absolutely ridiculous. We're 11-2. Let's celebrate the fact that we are a playoff team. We're in the playoffs, and we actually have a good team, and we're playing.
Just that fan base and that city and that town. You get it's how you guys suck.
You were
this on yourself last week when you were talking about everybody was doing what's best for the team. That was your quote last week. And now you got this internal turmoil, and where immediately, one week later, things are so different.
It's Christmas time. The Philadelphia Eagles throw snowballs at Santa and make drama. That's what they do.
I hope somebody tagged AJ in Chase's stats last night because he got targeted 18 times.
Yeah, so he did. And I want to thank Lisa Simpson for beating the Cowboys. He helped me get into the fantasy football playoffs, and I really appreciate that. How are the Cowboys going to cowboy? I'll tell you how they're going to cowboy. They're going to get the ball with a minute and a half left in the game, and they're going to come down and score. Just kidding. They're going to accidentally touch a punt and give the ball to Cincinnati, and then the Bengals are going to come down and score and win the game.
Leon led
it's not even.
Randy, I think that's your segue. What do you got for us from your game this week?
Again, good Dwaddle. Go ahead.
Nah, dude, I don't know. Dwaddle is looking really good, by the way.
I can't believe he's been there for 5 years.
Your pronunciation is looking pretty good.
I know. I'm finally getting better. But listen, there was so much with that game. I'm gonna point my pen a lot. There was so much in that game.
You look like a professor.
The Bengals had the ball.
Clump.
3rd and 14. Shut up. The Bengals had the ball 3rd and 14.
Love it.
And there's the most blatant hold I've ever seen in my life. I was screaming. My wife's like, "Shut up! The kids are sleeping." It was the biggest hold I've ever seen, I think, ever, and no one even said a thing about it.
Did you not see? I can't even think. Joe Burrow looking out of his ear hole that time. He's literally staring out his.
Come on, we're making stuff up.
It was like an exorcism.
Again, I haven't complained about the refereeing and whatever.
In a week,
obviously, it's been this year. I haven't said a whole lot this year. I mean, last year the Eagles got every call they could get going. This year's been pretty good.
Now it's a Chiefs.
It was a little annoying to say the least. Then the end of it. And it's like, again, right when you think the Cowboys things are starting to happen and they're going to at least finish on a good foot, they go touch a punt, give it to the Bengals, and it's like, man. And then they let AJ break a 54-yard, whatever it was, 45-yard touchdown. It's just, again. I didn't think they were going well. They were starting to get my hopes up. Dowdle has now averaged over 100 yards. Whatever has averaged over 100 yards.
That lasted
for the past 3 weeks.
Last very long.
After not getting 100 yards for all year long, he's finally consistently getting it. Their offensive line's got it. They got all their defensive stars back. It's like finally the things are starting to align. Which one? I didn't even see it.
Oh my gosh! Are you serious? DeMarvin and Overshown? You lost him.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
He's not going to be back till 2026.
What?
Yes.
ACL, MCL, and
holy cow.
I think it was PCL. No, he's not coming back next year.
And honestly, I actually think he is one of the.
Did you see Michael Parsons crying? He was crying for him.
Dude, but I actually think that he is one of the more underrated players on that defense.
I don't think he's underrated. I think he was amazing at Texas last year. It killed me to see you guys draft him.
I'm just saying, you don't hear a lot. Like, you hear Parsons, you hear Diggs, you hear, about Lawrence, you hear all these, but you do not. Overshawn's just someone who's in a lot of plays. You see him breaking stuff up, getting sacks all the time.
And that is why I know you don't watch the Cowboys this year.
Overshown was a break for you. You have him at a certain rate for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Now, because Rico can score 100 yards every couple of
120.
Hey, keep up in the numbers. I want to see it rise as fast as your body mass index. Let's just see it go up and up and
Here
up
we
and
go.
up. If you do that, guess who's
He
also
is
not
Mr. Frosty tonight.
Guess who is not
it all goes back to the fact that he doesn't know geography. He's bitter up that I do. That's all it comes down to.
I'm just telling you, let Rico shine all you want, because guess who's also in the last year of his contract? He is, and you're not going to see. You're going to pay Rico down. You're literally going to go. You're going to go New York Giants, and you're going to pay Rico Dowdle instead of Micah Parsons.
I don't know about all that. I don't know. I'm not
even taking the bait.
Listen, I know Rico Dowdle's been playing good. I don't know. I don't think he's the answer for a franchise running back going forward.
You better draft somebody.
Alshon Jefferson or whatever.
Alshon Jeffrey. Bears wide receiver.
No, you know who I mean.
Can have him again.
No, we don't.
The Boise State running back.
I think he's talking about Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, whatever you were huffing before, obviously wore off.
All right, someone else can talk. I'm getting sick of getting ripped on.
Chris,
come on.
What do you got? I mean, you had tell us about your 1 point cover this week, how you got your point, and how you almost lost that number 1 pick.
Hey man, everything's trust the process. Everything's working out the way I guess the GM and the coach expected. Everybody was mad. Everybody's fired up because they let DJ
just as
go.
Planned.
People were getting hurt and they ain't coming back. I don't know how we covered. I figured if we were going to win any more games this year, it was this one. But
you did say that.
What happened?
Also, what happened? I gotta give you
end?
props real quick because you actually had. I meant to say this. You had the best picks of the week. You picked all 3 internal competition points. You were the only person in the crew to do that. And you got 2 of the 3 against the spread covers. So you had a heck of a good week.
That was like Josh Allen go 3 for rushing and 3 in the air. I'd give you a point back. I think you should get a point.
Yeah, I like that. Let's get the producer. What do you think?
No,
he gets his 1
I'm
point
not going to come in last.
For winning against the spread. That's the best we can do.
Yeah, that's about the only thing I'm rooting for: competitive losses and getting some points in the competition.
What happened at the end? It seemed like the play call. It looked like all you had to do was kick a field goal to like tie or something, and then
got blocked. But they kept trying to.
Oh.
It got blocked. Yeah, it got tipped. Like
like I said, I was struggling. I was in struggle bus on Sunday. I didn't really wake up until like 4:00 in the afternoon. So
prior to that, I know, brother. But prior to that, Drew Lock threw a couple shots in the end zone. He missed Robinson. I mean, it got blocked. No said he hit it right. He hit it good, and the guy just hit a thumb on it. He thought he
-1
didn't even graze it. Was that what it was? His thumb, right? He said, "I thought I grazed it, not enough." I turned around. I saw it didn't go in. I was happy. But
now you know how to recover those, right? Now you know how to get the ball back.
What are you talking about?
Just watch the game last night. Now you know how to do that.
Oh yeah, like Leon Lett. I retweeted that today. I retweeted not the Leon Lett, but the play last night, and I wrote, "There's that dumb shit again with our logo," and I had the hashtag Leon Lett. I thought that was good. Nobody jumped on it. I thought that was a good one.
What? No way.
I can't imagine.
That's unbelievable.
That was a good tweet, man. What are you talking about?
By the way, that's not our logo. That would be your logo.
Yeah, but it's still a good logo. Still a good logo. I got my own emoji. Why not? I'm proud of that. But anyway.
You're proud of a lot of things. You were proud of the Giants about like 3 weeks ago.
He still is proud of Daniel Jones somehow.
I am. I would love to see him play. But anyway, come on, guys.
It's going to turn into like a pig farmer or something dumb.
I'm not even taking the bait. Everything's going the way it's supposed to go. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. I don't want to see neighbors get hurt.
Besides Saquon Barkley.
I don't want to see. Oh, I would love Saquon to get hurt. No, I don't want to see nothing happen to Tracy. I just want to get through the rest of the year with our big names. Like, they can sit out. You guys see the airplane? Did you guys see the sign that they flew over top the stadium pregame?
Yes.
We did. We saw that.
Mr. Morrow, will you please fix this dumpster fire? Enough is enough. And then they asked neighbors about it. He said it and paid for it. I did hear possibility somebody in the organization paid an OnlyFans girl to flash the fans. I didn't see it.
She showed the text.
read that too.
She showed the text from the player. It just wouldn't. It didn't say who. And he wasn't going to say. He said, "You will know when you get there. You will know who it is."
it just makes me wonder because like Neighbors was like, I didn't pay for that. Did a player pay for that? Like, I don't know, man. There's some stuff going on.
That just sounds like a Tommy Salami thing to do. I feel like it could have been him.
Tommy Salami.
But what I wanted to tell you earlier, you're talking about D. Did you hear what Neighbors was yelling on the sideline? The mic got it. Somebody was mic'd up and he said, "You're calling effing plays like I'm not even in the game." He yelled that at the coach and they got that. I mean, I've been telling you guys all year the play calling has been absolutely horrible.
But
No one denied that. No one denied.
And when you watch
AJ to say we need to work on our passing, but that's cool what Neighbors did.
No, I'm glad he said it. I mean, I'm not saying. Look, you're right. Your organization.
It sounds like you're waffling.
Dude, me? No, the organ.
Right.
Yeah, you were saying you think it's the. You were saying you think it's your media firing it up. The reason why yours looks bad is because he makes the comment and then Hurts comes back with a comment talking about, I just played a game. I don't put us in the situations I'm in. So like that's the problem. It's like they're saying too much. Like that's why it looks bad. I don't have no problem with Neighbors yelling that. I mean, he wants the ball. He is a diva. He should be. He is going to be a number one wide receiver. So
I did hear some Giants news. Just so you're aware, I heard that it's pretty close to a lock from a Miami Hurricane booster that Cam is going to be a Giant. And not only that, but Shannon Dawson, the quarterback coach / offensive coordinator, is coming to New York with him in a package
coordinator or as a coordinator.
Yeah,
offensive coordinator or like a QB
I would
coach.
assume he's a quarterback's coach / offense coordinator. I would assume he's coming with him, and that booster was just on. Oh my gosh, whose podcast was it? And he was talking all about it. He's the guy that they did the U 30 for 30 with, Vic. I think his name's Vic something. Cool dude, really good guy. But he's the guy that was partying with all those guys and just like multi-millionaire and just is a huge booster. But he mentioned that Cam Ward, he has on reliable sources that it's almost a lock that he is going to New York with Shannon Dawson, who was his coach. So I thought that was interesting.
Tough to call that a lock already when you don't know who's picking where and all that stuff. That's kind of trash.
But apparently Dion said Shador is not going to New York and he is going to Oakland. He will not let him go.
He already told. Well, I mean, he also told Antonio Pierce in Las Vegas that he's supposed to draft both of them, which means you got to get stuck with the other one. Kind of like the Carolina Tar Heels are about to get stuck with Bill Belichick's son because it's part of the damn contract that he's mandatory.
That's my other represent today.
But if you're 15 wins short of the NFL all-time coaching record, why are you going to go to UNC for 2 years? Just to get reestablished and go back to the NFL? Or what's the end game here with him? Do you know? Like
getting his son a job that he will feel he earned that he didn't, so he will shut up and get away from him forever.
He's in Washington right now, though, right?
I'm aware he's the defensive. I think what Paul
said is accurate here, unfortunately.
So I don't know enough about it, but I don't see the point of going backwards. I mean, like everything he's done, what's going to college do? Is it like what's the point?
I don't know. It's set up for him.
Becoming like the NFL now.
Like, yeah, I don't know if it's going
just
backwards.
a challenge. He just wants a challenge. Is he just wants?
That's going to be his angle in recruiting. Is like, hey, I know what the NFL is like. I'm going to treat this like an NFL program. Come play for me.
And he wants it set up. He wants to set it up like an NFL team. He submitted a 400 pages to Carolina. He has an offer to them. They're not offering him. He has an offer to them.
Yeah,
they're supposed to respond. So it's like, I mean, it's crazy.
I also think that in college, it just seems like the coach's job is much more secure. You look at Franklin, you look at Harbaugh in Michigan. I mean, like
that's because there's not owners. There's not billionaire owners that are
right. And when you're a big name like that, like a Harbaugh, of course you're not. Yeah, they want you there because it is going to bring the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Belichick can go down there and most likely finish his career out there with much less stress than he ever had in the NFL too.
But why?
And his girlfriend can get a free ride to get an MBA or something there since she's 24.
That was funny when you said
Very
that's how he's going to.
infatuated with Belichick's girlfriend for some reason.
I thought it was funny.
Well-
I thought it was funny. That's how he's going to connect with the younger players. But when everybody was messing with me, saying, "Oh, we're going to get Belichick and bring Rodgers in," I felt like at his age, that ain't the right person to bring to the Giants. I got so many issues, right? Like you would think he would want to go. He don't want to rebuild all that and mess with all that. But even though he might be too old for the up and coming new NFL, you take somebody like that everybody knows, you put him in a college like that, and he's going to run it like an NFL recruiting.
He's GM. He is.
People are going to go there.
Coaching
Yeah, that's going to
GM
make the best of the best. Are
Carolina.
going to, yeah, that's your
and
shot,
I'm
dude.
sure that he's asking for a certain bucket of money to use too, that they're not accustomed to spending.
Yeah.
And you have to meet all these requirements, which are going to be interesting.
Hey, I got interrupted about the Giants. I want to bring up one more thing. How about that Drew Lock play when he had a wide open run? He could have ran for like 38 to 40 yards, and then he just like veered to the right after like 4 yards and got
Because he
back.
didn't. He had
No
heard
one watches the Giants.
yeah.
Dude, you guys didn't see that though? It's like
I
I
didn't
don't
see
know.
it.
Did you?
I'm gonna
anybody?
go. I didn't see it, but I'm gonna go with this as the answer. He's in on part of the fix to not win any games.
I'm in
His
on
coach,
it.
his coaches told him we are not trying to win. Don't F it up.
Is that going to mess? Is that going to mess up his chances of coming back, Greg? With your little plan with Cam Ward and his coach?
He doesn't want to come
He's not
back
coming
there.
back.
He's not. No.
Dable's not coming back.
No.
Dable's
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock's
Drew
not
Lock.
coming back.
No. Dable. I'm not talking about Drew Lock. Is
We
Dable
were talking
coming
about
back?
Drew Lock. We're
I
talking
would
about Drew
assume
Lock.
Dable is coming back, and I would assume your GM's coming back. I would assume your owner, just like Mike said, had a conversation with all three. Hey, let's get the second pick, third pick in the draft. Let's get a quarterback.
That's why the players are
and I'm
mad.
going to give you 1 year to make it work. If it doesn't work, you're both out. But let's do it.
And
Give it a try.
There's
you
a
got neighbors-
100%
you got-
chance that conversation happened.
you got
Sure.
neighbors on the sideline asking, "Why am I not getting the ball?" They're like,
Right. Just yeah.
"No
Players
way."
wanna win.
It ain't
Players
coming,
do
son. I'm sorry, but
It ain't
that
coming
ball
this
That's why
year.
the
ain't
player,
coming.
and that's why the players.
Yeah,
are
you're
pissy.
going from 16 targets to 3.
He got his 2-point
Zip it.
conversion. He got his 2-point conversion.
That's
He
good.
gave him
He
a little
did.
taste. Got to keep him quiet.
It's gonna take more
Well,
than that.
Paul, you didn't have
Hey.
a game this week, but you got anything you didn't get out yet?
I got a couple of things. I already deleted a couple because we covered a couple things. We'll start off with a good zinger. So Tyreek Hill has more children born with his DNA this year than he does have touchdowns. 5 to 4. And he's married. Like
Who?
Tyreek Hill
All
has
right.
more
Well,
kids that he has birthed with his DNA this year than touchdowns, and he's married. Someone was like midway through that was like, "Yeah, let's do that," and
Sounds
I'm
like a
sure they
good
signed a
wife.
prenup. Yeah. The next is Mike. I did get up at 4, and you are aware there was that. But you know what happened when I got up at 4 p.m.? I walked to the bathroom and I took a piss and I came back. You know what I did during that time?
We don't want to know.
I made it more. That was more yardage than Caleb Williams had in the first half.
Oh,
Oh,
He had 4 yards in the entire first half versus
True
310
Yeah, I was wrong. I did want to know.
for San Francisco. And
next gen.
even though I had pneumonia and bronchitis, walked back and forth.
you sound
Well,
like you sound like
Yeah,
Topher
but what was
wanting
his
to talk
QBR?
about one half of football.
But what was his QBR?
But that one half,
The one half
People,
was
I'm sure
great.
is somehow the QBR. I have no idea how he made that 4 yards look so good, but I guarantee it looked amazing.
I would have got a point in the competition.
Yes. One other good one, and then I got 2 downsides. So obviously we know that O.J. Simpson and throw your hands down. Put your hands down, Steve-O. So we know that Terrell Davis and O.J. Simpson are highly revered running backs in the Hall of Fame. Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns than both of them. Plus, he's also thrown for almost 200. So
he's a beast.
there's something there. There's something to enjoy in your bathroom.
That's
by
what-
Imagine
your
what
little-
he could do in New York.
yeah,
He is
Just-
in New York.
I just want to put that in your head later, Chris, when you want to turn the lights low in that room right there.
Yeah, I've been telling you guys since like episode 3 last year that he was the best quarterback in the
Well,
league. But
Mhm.
So I do want to say that one of our long lost friends, I think he's been retired now from the NFL. I don't think he retired from the NFL. He's been retired by the NFL now. Kadarius Toney. Apparently,
No, he's on the Browns. He's
He
on
just
the
got cut again.
Again? Oh,
let me just tell you why this. There's nothing more Kadarius Toney than this. This is exactly how it goes. Cannot believe that he was allowed to score like a winning touchdown in a Super Bowl.
Dude,
so he's on the Cleveland practice squad and he gets elevated. So what does he do? They get him in there for punt returns. He was good at that. He just like, dude, just run. So the first one he gets, he returns it, does whatever. I think it was a fair catch. It was a fair catch. Got a taunting penalty of 15 yards. We're like, what the hell was that? The next one he freaking muffs it. I don't even know if he was allowed to change in the locker room. He was gone so quick.
You might not even know this part. The guy that he taunted was the same guy that got him to off the punt and then recovered the turnover and took it to the end zone.
Oh.
So like he was like a big FU back to Kadarius Toney.
Good.
So there's no chance that he has picked up unless, if you want a guaranteed.
There you go, Giants.
Yeah. If you want a cooler, you just throw Kadarius Toney out there and start giving him like 5 or 6 targets in a quarter and just see what happens.
The best thing he did for the Giants was help beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So, hey.
Well, thank you for that. But that's actually a segue into the last.
That was the Super Bowl. He had a touchdown and he had a good punt return in that Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's a great segue to the last thing I want to say. So what's the difference between the Bills versus Lions and the Chiefs versus the Eagles?
I know this one.
You should.
One every American wants to see, and one is probably what we're going to see.
No, you are such. Sorry. You can't answer it by looking at a map. So I guess you're out of luck.
Oh, here we go.
The answer is Bills versus the Lions is what America wants to see. The freaking Chiefs versus Eagle. Yeah. And the Eagles versus Chiefs is what we're going to have to see.
Literally almost verbatim what I just said.
You were right, Randy.
Again, another right.
Okay.
You better
Randy's
get better
been
soon.
owning you for weeks, man. You got to start feeling better.
You got to use antibiotics up in your system.
So how did you win that one? So what was your defense there? How did you know that? Based on what?
I literally saw that clip on X.
You saw the meme? Yeah, you saw the meme.
Same thing, yeah.
Okay, so then you don't get one if you already saw it. If you already know the answer.
Here we go. We're going to go to technicality.
By the way, no. So, and your parting gift, you know what your parting gift is? You are actually a 2-point dog next week to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Speaking of parting gifts, we are running
There's
long,
your segue.
So let's take a break. We will be back to talk about next week and next week's spreads in a minute.
Love this show.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
Welcome back to the second half as we look forward to week 15. We're going to spin these wheels in a minute to get 3 categories. Let me tell you all what the matchups are for this week real quick. You got the Giants at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is favored by 14.5. You got Dallas going down to the pesky Carolina Panthers. Carolina is favored by 2.5 after the tight loss against the Eagles. They're gaining Vegas' respect here. Philadelphia is at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Philadelphia is favored by 5.5 in that one. Looking to be a close game, and you got Washington going down to New Orleans. Looking like an easy one as far as the line is concerned. Washington's favored by a touchdown. So that's our 4 matchups for the week. Let's get three wheel spins here for the internal competition. See what we come up with. I'm hoping for some more QBR. It's been a week or two.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
We got receiving yards. Team total is the first one.
Well, I think we know who's not Eagles going to get that.
It's perfect. See how many divas we have on the field this week.
Is that what it was? 108, Greg?
108.
He complained. He complained. So
there goes QBR. Damn.
Sacks.
Defensive sacks. Any single player. Okay, let's go. Is anybody going to get the 2? I think is the key question here.
My money's on Overshown.
That's a dick thing to say.
Our last category looks like it's going to be a Saquon category. Rushing yards, any single player. Can't wait to see if anyone picks against the guy.
Hey, there's always Dowdle.
I am 100% sure there's going to be a Tracy pick.
It was definitely a one-time usage of the right pronunciation. Apologies to Rico Dwaddle. Paul, we ended with you. You didn't have a game last week. Why don't you lead us off in the second half?
All right. No problem with that. Want to make sure these drugs don't wear off before this ends. So let me get all my takes in here. I'm actually looking forward to seeing our team come back and play. I don't normally do spreads, but I think we probably would beat this spread. I thought Derek Carr got pretty hurt at the very end of that game. He came down on his hand. To me, it looked like he broke his hand. It's only him and Alvin Kamara out there in the first place. So, I
think Taysom's out for the year, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, going down there and they're giving us 7 going down there, I think it might actually be worse than that. I'm more or less hoping that we don't get any of our players hurt. But I think Derek Carr is going to be out, which is unfortunate. I like Derek Carr, and I got Alvin Kamara in fantasy. Yeah. Is it?
Just updated. Fractured hand out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt you real quick and say you just said something about how you don't normally like to pick the spreads. And looking at my notes from last week, you had to pick the spreads last week because it was one of our internal competitions. You went 0 for 3. You got all blue highlights on my book here for your spread picks. You will not be invited as a guest on the 10 Cent Parlay podcast in the future, just so you know. Carry on.
Fair enough.
How many assists did Jalen Brunson need?
I don't know. It's like 4.
He needed 6 that night.
He had 4.
All right.
He averages 8 or 9 though.
Yeah, I mean it's a lock. It's a lock, right?
It was supposed to be.
That's because you hate on him, so you deserve the loss.
So the next game, the Ravens and Giants, I feel
all the support I give you.
And yeah, I will pick the spread in this one. They are going to beat the spread. The Ravens are going to come out and do that. They didn't need a bye week. They were gifted a bye week, and I think everybody else has to worry about it because nobody spoke a word about them over the last 10 days. And I think they're going to remind everybody about who's a real powerhouse in the AFC. I think they still are can be the most dominant team if they just, act right. Do what you're supposed to do.
Man.
Yeah, do what you're supposed to do. They're the scariest team for me.
It's a shame DJ's not there, though, because DJ's the only guy other than Jalen Hurts to beat him.
That's what I mean.
If he's still going to want to go in there and win because the last time he was there, he lost. So he's going to absolutely.
DJ was there, it'd be like Oklahoma State running back tandem of Thurman Thomas and
you guys just can't let him go.
Barry Sanders. You can't think, can't hope that he gets hurt because you got somebody just as good, if not better, with that scheme coming. Yeah, so sorry, I'll stop. So the Cowboys and Panthers, I do think the Cowboys are going to win.
All that medication.
And I'm only it is. I'm absolutely picking the Cowboys, and I'm hoping that I continue that streak that I started last week. I'm hoping to go 0 for 6 on my spreads here.
Good one.
But that's incredible. Since sometime in 2022 is the last time the Panthers were favorite, and they're putting in a quarterback that they already gave up on and had to put him back in. And yes, it's had a resurgence, and I'm, they get the A for effort award the last 6 weeks. Everyone's rooting for him as, they're like the Charlotte Hornets from the 90s. If you didn't have a team, it's the team you root for just because. You didn't really know why, but you just did. So I think the Cowboys.
Well, they had cool jackets. That's why
I got one. Yeah. I have no idea how the Cowboys could possibly lose this game, but I found out, new rules, new way to do it yesterday. So, there's nothing you could do that could surprise me.
Vegas apparently disagrees with you.
Hey, it's the DeMarvion Overshown effect. I guess the Mingo thing wore off. They were waiting for him to blow up, start being
Look, Look, it's Mingo against his old team.
I was just going to say it's going to be
Revenge
a party, revenge game. Yep, could blow up.
This could be the come out party. Yep.
Receiving yards.
I'm just waiting for Deion. I'm waiting for
Are you going to pick that?
Hey,
we'll see.
I have a confession to make real quick as far as picks. I put in a couple of $1 parlays last night that included Mingo to score a touchdown, and to score the first touchdown even, because the payouts were ridiculous. And I was like, how good of a story would this be that like turn $1 into 200? Like I went for it like 4 or 5 times, but obviously didn't come through.
Yeah, you took a shot on it like Jerry, and it just didn't come through.
See, the problem I have with the other game is that the game is on at the same time as Bills and Lions. Those are 2 incredible games at the same time. So I wish that they were at separate times, and maybe we flex one of the other ones out of there. But I think that's going to be a good game. Steelers, Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win, though. I don't have any reason why either. I just think the Eagles are going to win, and it's not necessarily the way I want it to go either. But I mean, the Steelers have been on a pretty good roll with Russell Wilson. Like he's like not even like Seattle Russell Wilson. Like he's early Seattle Russell Wilson. Like I mean, he's been like a full on game manager. I mean, it's
they got him for $1 million.
Yeah, and 1.2 million or something like that.
Didn't he throw like 4 touchdowns? He was on a bye, but like 2 weeks ago, didn't he throw like 4 touchdowns?
I'll say it's legendary to throw 4 touchdowns on your bye.
No. He wasn't on a bye. They weren't on a bye.
Read from the maps.
Years, but I know. I know. Recently he threw 4 touchdowns. I was like, wow.
So Paul, you don't have to do it, but are Eagles going to cover? You said they're going to win. Are they going to cover?
Yeah, I think so.
5 and you've been wrong, and you said you're continuing.
That wasn't the intention, but hey, if we want to put that in, if somebody wants to, put an asterisk next to that as well.
I want to put that into the atmosphere, or whatever you call it. Yeah.
All right, so we'll do with the category picks. So what do we got? We got
receiving yards. Any team.
Yeah, receiving yards. I actually am going to
player,
pick,
isn't it?
No, I thought it was team total.
It was team.
Oh, really?
Team total.
Okay.
Yeah. I am going to I'm going to pick the Redskins. And to be honest, I don't think it's really close in my head about going with any of the other ones for this week.
Wow.
Sack single player.
Can I go second?
I will definitely not take somebody from Redskins, the exact opposite of that. I think it'll definitely be Micah Parsons. He's going to be crying the whole time, but he's going to have some freaking passion out there for sure. He's going to have to be a one-man wrecking crew. After you just lost Overshone and you lost Lawrence out there, I mean, he's the only one left. And what was the other one?
He's not happy.
No.
Rushing yards single player.
Oh, rushing yards. Oh, there's a contested one. I mean, this one could be literally anybody but Redskins. Damn it. Tracy or Rico could definitely get it. But, I mean, I'm going to think if you're going to get that passing game open, you're going to need to get that running game open as well.
Sir.
Because if you don't have the running game open, those passes are going to be pushed a little bit too hard. You're going to be throwing them to the wrong team, and Minka Patrick's going to be running one right back in your face. So I'm gonna say it's going to be Saquon again, and it probably won't be because I tried to justify it so hard. I was not waffling one bit.
Well, I think somebody's eager to dispute you here. So Chris,
I think we got a sweep coming. I think we got a giant sweep.
It's not a dispute. It's just I'm agreeing with almost everything he's saying. So I'm going to start with the I'm going to start with the internal competition. I'm going to say Washington will get the receiving yards, and it's not even close. Like I feel like the Eagles are going to try to do it, and it's going to mess up their game plan. So I'll get to my picks here in a minute. But I'm going to go Washington. I think New Orleans stinks. They don't have Carr. Washington's efficient. They're coming off a bye. They're going to be on the field a lot. I think this is going to be a good week for Daniels. Sacks, I have to agree with Paul again. I feel like Parsons is unhappy. I feel like Dallas should have won last night. I feel like Carolina is still Carolina. Dallas could have beat Cincinnati last night. I think they can beat Carolina. So I think Dallas is going to win that game and cover. And Parsons is going to be a big part of that. He's going to get the sacks. He's going to get multiple sacks. single player rushing. I think the Eagles are going to try to throw the ball. I think they're going to try to get Brown happy because he's getting a little unhappy, and they've been talking his smack. And I think they're going to try to get him involved, which is going to keep Saquon from not getting the ball a lot in the first half. And it's nothing against Waddle and it's nothing against Tracy, but I think that's why that's not going to happen. I'm going to give it to Tracy. I need a point. Eagles are going to lose. Pittsburgh's going to cover that game. Washington's going to win. They're going to cover. Dallas is going to win. They're going to cover. And Baltimore is going to smoke us. I don't know if it's going to be by 14.5, but they're going to smoke us.
That's such a big number.
That's my picks.
Even for the worst of worst teams, that's still
I guarantee
a very
you they
big
do not
number
win
in
by
the
14.5. I will say that.
Yeah.
I will guarantee that.
There's no way we can compete with them. But we don't even we're not even trying to win games. 14.5 is a lot, man.
And I think they're going to try and make a point this week. People
I
keep
agree.
talking about the Chiefs and the Bills too much.
That's the other thing I wanted to agree
And
with
even
you
the
on.
Steelers, now people are talking like the third or like the next big scary team in the AFC is the Steelers, from the power rankings.
Remember last year I brought up that he's never had a losing record, and Randy said he sucks and everything. And once again, here he is, one of the best.
Still
AFC
think he
teams.
sucks.
He doesn't suck, dude. He's never had a losing record in his career.
Yeah.
All right.
I still think he sucks.
All right.
Well, Randy, I think despite that giant 14.5 number there in the New York game, I think your spread is the most surprising here for most of us. What do you got for us in that Dallas-Carolina game?
Well, I'm going to start with internal receiving team total. I am going to go with Dallas. I think New Orleans' secondary is pretty good. They've had signs of bad this year, but I think they are pretty decent. Sacks, Micah Parson, rushing yards, same with you, Chris. I'm taking Dowdle because I got to.
Wow.
Wow. Then I got a couple of games. So I want to pick this. I want to pick this interesting because I've got another surprise pick in here. But I think Baltimore does win that game. That like you guys are all talking, that spread. I mean, with prevent defense now and junk time, it's just so hard to have over 2 touchdowns.
You're gonna have junk time at 5 minutes into the third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to have
it could be 21-0 at the end of the first. It could easily happen.
I know. And then Baltimore slows down and lets all they got to do is let Giants come in and score 1 touchdown in junk time, and it's 7-21 and Giants cover. It's such a big number. It's
the only problem with that is you can't go any slower than running the ball, and then you run with Derrick Henry, and what does he do? He's literally paid to run people over and then go 70 yards.
I've watched that 14.5 point spread.
This could be
I don't know.
5 to 10.
It just seems completely. I mean, it seems doable. I don't like big spreads like that. I think the Giants cover
unless it's Thanksgiving.
Washington, New Orleans. I do think Washington is going to outscore New Orleans pretty heavy. I think they're going to cover. Here's my 3. If I was a parlay fanatic, here's my 3 picks. Mark my words. Remember that from last year? I am taking the Cowboys at +2. I'm taking Pittsburgh at +5.5, and I'm taking Green Bay at -3 at Seattle. Those 3 games to me, when I talk about things that seem crazy when I'm looking at, do I think Philly's better? Probably, but that's a pretty decent spread on that game. So anyway, there's your 3 locks. Take them to wherever you choose to place your bets.
Nostradamus has spoken.
Take them to where you do your bets. Really?
I don't know.
DraftKings,
I don't know. Wherever. Yeah, there's a million places.
I agree with that line.
Yeah, wherever. Just like saying wherever you can find your podcasts.
That's true.
It's anywhere.
Well, Greg, you just got burned too, bud.
We don't have a betting site sponsor in us yet, so until we do, we're not going to give anybody any free advertising.
That's right.
Listen, hold on. Just for when I said that, Paul shook his head. He's still bittered up. I can still see it.
Poor Paul. I don't know.
Go ahead, Greg.
Really don't know how you deal with them. I will look at the internal competition first. I kind of agree with most of you, unfortunately. I think receiving yards, is going to go to Washington. I think that they're going to be one of the higher scoring teams. I think they're going to throw the ball. sacks any player. How can you go against Parsons after what's going on down there and losing his friend to injury and going against Carolina? I mean, it's like, to me, honestly, it's the perfect recipe. And then looking at Steelers defensively, I know they got a really, really nice front four. And then Fitzpatrick back there at safety and whatchamacallit, Son back there at corner. But statistically, they are literally one of
Porter Jr.
Yeah, one of the worst statistical defense out there against the pass and the rush. So I think Barkley is going to Barkley this week. I think we are going to try to throw the ball. I would say we throw the ball about 30 times, not 20.
Barkley's
not
going to Barkley. You better hope not.
I think Barkley's going to run the ball about 20 times, and I think we're going to
getting hurt.
That's what I was like. That isn't that the Barkley thing to do right about now?
Barkley getting Barkley.
No,
I wouldn't wish
with the Eagles. Barkley doing Barkley is getting over 100 yards rushing.
Everybody's you're 11-2. There's turmoil in the locker room. Barkley's doing Barkley at Pittsburgh.
I'll tell you what. If I'm down there and I see that happen, I will never talk.
Oh, and you're going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Oh man, it's
how much are the? I want to make it a reference here. How much were the tickets?
I don't season tickets, so we spend. I think there's 90 some a piece, $100 a piece for where we sit. Resale right now, resales, and we're 5 rows from the top of the stadium. I think resale is $160 right now on them.
I would have guessed more than that, honestly.
I would have too. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's crazy. 160. So if you would have taken 100, for that same price at that Giants Saints game, you could have gotten 160 individual seats at that game. Do you know that?
Wow.
They were dollar seats on the top row. You could have whole 160.
Good job, Giants.
Sit there like a king.
You get spread out.
And how much were the beers? How much were the beers? 13, and then
our beers are
get in for $1.
It's crazy.
They have $5 beers at Giants games. There's every once in a while you can find a stand.
Really?
You can get sometimes it's Busch, sometimes it's Miller High Life, and it's $5 beers. And they'll sell you 2.
Champagne and beer, man. There you go.
It's all right.
Hey, I'm gonna continue to do my picks, by the way. Just like
sorry, sir.
I'm gonna take Washington -7. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers -2.5 against Dallas. I think Carolina is playing ball right now.
Because they played you good.
Against you.
Because they played you okay.
No.
All right. When they played the Giants, we were the laughing stock, and nobody should lose to Carolina. But now when you play them guys are good.
Mike, how have they looked the last 4 weeks, Mike?
I've been trying to tell y'all this, that Carolina should not be slept on.
Nope.
Maybe it's kind of like that.
Everybody laughed at me last week. Everybody except for Randy laughed at that last week.
Maybe it's kind of like that.
I didn't laugh at that. I said the same. I co-signed that.
No. Paul. You want to get into Paul? You said you not only said Paul that Philly would win by 2 touchdowns, but you were like, that is not a bold statement. That was your quote. I have that written down.
Right. But I still would not want to play Carolina.
Man, now you're like, I was agreeing. I said they were going to play Philly tight last week.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant agreeing with you that they've been a team you don't want to play right now.
Yeah, you didn't sound that way last week. You had other quotes about Carolina last week as well. Go back and watch.
I'm starting to see another combinator. Whoever plays the Giants seems to start winning. You guys ever noticed that?
No.
That's what Giants lose. The other team wins.
Look out!
You gotta watch out. It's like a get right game. So who just beat the Giants? Yeah, Carolina.
Watch out! New Orleans is coming for you.
New Orleans is coming. But remember, you were saying about whoever plays the Lions, you're beat up. You lose the next week. And when you beat the Giants, then you go on for
what's going to be. I think what's going to be hilarious. Let's say the Carolina Panthers do win. So who did you lose to in week 2? The Saints, who were just balling out, and now the Saints. I don't even think they can put I don't even think they're fielding a whole team. They have 48 players that probably
they're still in the hunt for the playoffs.
So, but you're playing. You saw them at their best.
Playoffs.
And if you had played Carolina in week 2, you would have played them at their worst.
Exactly.
But no, you played Saints when they were their best. We're playing them at their worst. We played them at the Carolinas' worst, and you played them at their best.
It's NFL is a week-to-week league. That's
I can't follow all that. Let Greg finish.
Unless you're the Giants, and you just lose every week.
Then you lose
like
every
the last
week.
9.
Speaking of the Giants losing,
it's all about topography.
Ravens, and I'm going to take them to cover the
geography.
Topography of maps,
idiot. I think there's a chance that there's the backdoor cover happening in this game and getting it to
Randy's life would be easier if he had one.
But I'm going to take the Ravens.
Good Lord.
And I'm also going to take...
That's why you don't have a colon.
Oh, my God. I'm going to take the Birds.
We're going to have a lot of blooping.
I apologize.
I think we get right. I think we do. I think Jalen Hurts throws the ball 25, 30 times. I think he has 250 yards. I think he has 3 touchdowns. And I think Barkley rushes for $127 with a TD.
Wow. So you think you're smoking Pittsburgh?
I
got him putting up 30-some points at the very least right there by what you just said. I think we're going to win
by 13.
Mike, write that down.
That is, again, I just look at both your teams right now. You're both
Mike.
playing really, really well. I don't know.
This might be the downfall of the Eagles this week. This might be the beginning of the end.
It could be. And the Giants may win a game, but guess what? It probably won't.
We're not with. No, it's not even funny anymore. We're supposed to lose.
I'm just.
Yeah, I got to say, Chris, it is so refreshing not to hear you overly optimistic about the Giants for the first time in 2 years. Like you're finally not singing their praises when they have 5 wins and they could possibly win the NFC East somehow.
I felt like everybody else on the team. As soon as they kicked DJ to the curb, it gave us our best chance to win.
Here we go.
Say goodbye.
By getting rid of their best player?
Dude,
DJ. Yeah, ever since they got rid of DJ. Look, we were talking about it Sunday. They don't even. They can't even run an offense. It's so bad. It's just,
I just imagine
run an offense week 3, week 2.
Way better. It looks way better. It looks competent with DJ out there. It's terrible. Okay. Doesn't matter who they play.
Once again,
I disagree on that.
It sounds like you're trying to end us on some dumb shit.
Yeah, he is. They're not trying to win games, but we are trying to end this podcast. So let's get out of here, and we'll be back next week to see how things shake out. And we're almost there at the end of the season, guys. This is fantasy playoffs time. That means we're coming down to the wire, and ain't too many weeks left before we get to the playoffs. So we'll be back next week and one step closer to it.
Don't take my Mingo pickup, Mike. I need him.
Mingo. Good week, fellas.
See ya.